Hello and welcome to our first webinar for Smartech Business Systems. My name is Francois Risk and we are introducing today the NeoCut die cutter. I have with me Emmanuel Bahaja from Imagination Graphics. Emmanuel, thank you for joining us.
Pleasure.
So Emmanuel, tell us a little bit about Imagination Graphics.
Yes, Imagination Graphics, situated in inner city, Marrickville, have been there for close to 25 years or so. We have an array of digital machines, array 2 printing machines, cylinder, GDO, platoons, laminating machines, silliglazing machines, and digital cutting machines.
Okay, all right. Yeah. And so obviously, you know, the business is changing in the print industry. We've had lots of turmoil, particularly with COVID happening. It's created a lot of challenges for the print market, and I'm sure Imagination Graphics would have been the same. And so you would had to have transformed your business.
Yes.
You'd have to have had to really change things in order to stay competitive, and create automation and, you know, find ways to overcome the trends, particularly around die cutting. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, in the die cutting area, I found over the years it was getting smaller and smaller in quantities, Francois. It was people would only want 100 labels or would only want 150, 200, like small runs, not worth putting on a roll-to-roll machine or not worth making a knife, putting them on a cylinder, and we have a cylinder to cut and to print. It wasn't cost effective at all. So I started looking outside, looking for different avenues to try and keep the work in-house at a good price, basically to try and maximize the profits on those kind of jobs.
Okay, so and then you essentially went with the die cutter. I would imagine that's helped you in terms of ways to essentially create shorter run jobs.
Yes. Yep. The die cutter was great. Once we brought it into Imagination, I could see a high value for it. It's a high profit margin machine as far as we're concerned on how we use it.
Which is this machine over here.
This machine here, yes. We found, well, especially since we've had it.
Basically what it's doing, it'll say this colour goes to
jobs
here.
Like I said, labels.
This colour was going to go to there, but what I'm going to do is shift a couple of these around.
Presentation folders, because as we all know, in the presentation folder market, people don't want 250 presentation folders or 500 folders. They're ringing up saying, can I have 50 folders? I have a seminar in a couple of weeks. I've got something coming up in a couple of days. Can you help us? And we want 50 or 20. Ideal machine. You can charge that little bit more for the job, and you end up doing the print, the die cutting, the whole lot. And it's attracted a lot of new clients for us.
So you'd be getting a lot of direct clients as well as a lot of printers who really don't want to do the printing to send it to you as well, right?
Sure. At first, I thought the machine would be good just to have as a trade to other printers to do their die cutting. But as it's turned out now, there is a lot of trade printers that are sending, they would just say to Imagination, look, here's the file, here's the print job, print the 100 sheets you need and die cut it. So not only has it brought for us the means to do die cutting and top slitting and all of that sort of work, but it's also brought in more print work for us.
Okay.
I mean, because a lot of clients just want you to do the job, you know, get the job out, and a good job, and it does a great job.
Okay, all right. So in terms of, that's pretty impressive. So essentially what's happening there is a lot of the jobs you're getting, you obviously have to cost and quote these jobs quickly, but I would imagine that a lot of your jobs are won quickly because you've got to turn it around quickly, your customer as well.
Sure. Yes, we have a easy way to quote on the machine.
Yeah.
It's very profitable. And yes, you're right, Frank. So people want jobs within a couple of days, within a day, and sometimes within a couple of hours. We've had printers ring up that their cylinder is broken down, or they don't want to make a knife. It's a one-off job. They only need 50. Can you print, please, this and die cut it for us?
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So it has created a whole new market for us, and especially on our SRA3 machines. Print a job, laminate it, put it on the die cutter. Within a couple of hours, you can have the job out the door.
Okay. All right. And essentially some of the applications that you would put on there would be, like you said, wobblers, stickers, coasters, presentation folders you mentioned, bespoke shaped ones.
Boxes, yes.
Boxes.
Boxes. We've got a few boxes over here that we've done. We've got the imagination box that we've got. And
yep. So
what enables the machine to do is, so in a box like this, the knife was wrong. So we're able to print without spending all the money on a knife and testing it out and what have you. We printed 20 of these, put them together, found out the type wasn't right, wasn't fitting in where the customer wanted it. Customer's knife was incorrect, so easy to fix, back on, reprint, redo the job, all within a couple of hours. So, and that's a beauty about having a digital cutter as such as this. Yeah, these little wobblers we do. I come out just to show you some samples.
Yeah. On that.
Little tabletop. See, it's a whole range of, yeah. And these are all scored and die cut on the machine, as you can see it very easily.
And this one, I don't know if you can see that one, if I can come a little bit closer there. It's actually cut inside. So the NeoCut digital die cutter. Can you see that there? No, it's a little bit too close. This one over here. So that's.
It's work like this that is very, very good for short run, to test the market possibly, to print 100, test the market, give it to clients, and then, okay, then go and print the 10,000, 20,000 that you need.
Yep.
It's perfect because with the way digital printing is in at the moment and the quality of it, clients just love the fact, ad agencies love it, the fact that you can give them a short run job.
That's very impressive.
Yep.
Also does magnets, I understand as well, magnets with the oscillating tool.
Yes, it does this sort of work here on foam core.
Yep.
That's I think a 3 mil foam core board, which is very impressive. You can see it, very hard board. And yes, great for short run coasters, stuff like that. Okay. So it's very good.
And so, thank you. So you bought it from us. Why did you buy it from Smartech?
Well, I think it was the end of last year. You had a little seminar on it where you were showing it off, which I was invited to. And I went to have a look at it. And as soon as I saw it running and working, I said, oh, this could be very good for imagination graphics because we do a lot of short run work. We do heaps and heaps of labels, and as we said, all the other stuff that we do. And we used to only we had a machine that was very, very slow with no bed on it to accept sheets. We used to have to put it on, sit there, watch it cut, lift it off, pop everything out, all the cards out, and then put the other sheet on. It was a manually driven, good machine, but slow. This is quadrupled the time it takes to do a job. We're able to put 100 sheets on, get the first 2 out, make sure it's still working perfectly, and we walk away. We can go and do cellar glazing, or we can do the guys on the guillotine, because they're all in with each other. So the one person can run 3 machines at the same time, which is where you start making money, start making good money.
Yeah, yeah. So you wouldn't be having the one person dedicated to the machine centrally, and yeah, you're right. That's money and time, obviously, with it being faster.
It's faster, yes, and
Yeah.
look, it does a fantastic job.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we're very, very happy with the machine.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what about the service side of things?
The service is great. The technicians have been out every time we've asked them. The first few weeks we had them out, happy to come and help us, show the boys how to work the machine properly, the ins and outs. If there's any little dramas, they were there next day. Yeah, we've had no problems with the service at Smartech.
I think part of the thing when you're running a business and you're making sure that the business is operational, sometimes it's about the box, but a lot of the times it's not so much about the box as much as it is about the support and the service that you get around it, because you don't want a machine that's going to go down on you, because downtime is cost as well. So all of a sudden the margins that you've built start to erode away very quickly as well, I would imagine.
Yeah. No, that's true. Not that we've had too many problems with the machine. We've hardly had any problems. And that's it's a beautiful thing when you don't have problems with machines. So very good. And we've only had the technicians out a few times. And we found that the Smartech service is a really, really good service. And we order knives, they're normally delivered the next day. Second day, so there's no problem with the deliveries and service at all.
I think partly the strength that Smartech has is that product management with Jimmy and the team, they're very selective of the products that we bring in and distribute here in Australia. Smartech have a lot of people that come and knock on their doors and say, here's my box, sell it. But we're going to be very selective because, we're going to make sure that we look after our clients for the long term.
Sure.
It's not just about dropping a box sort of thing. So from that perspective, we've got to make sure, from my understanding, the supplier or the manufacturer that does this machine has had a good 17 years experience in terms of building die cutters for the graphics market, which is really, really important. The other thing you mentioned about speed as well, from my understanding, you were mentioning before the competition compared to this machine cuts a lot faster as well.
Yes.
Compared to the competition that you were looking at and evaluating.
With the cutting, it is faster as well. And also the delivery is faster.
Yep.
Once you put 100 shoots on and it's working and you walk away, it's what you want. You don't want staff for the most costly thing in a business standing there just looking at it while it's cutting. So this machine alleviates all those problems.
Awesome.
As I said, you can operate 3 other machines or 4 other machines while this machine is running. And then at the end of its cycle, it's very easy just to pop another whole lot of shoots, center it up, hit the button, and away you go again.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah.
And accuracy being with the CCD camera that's in there, that Israeli CCD camera, 0.2 plus or minus 0.2% accuracy, millimeters?
Yes.
Accuracy. So I think that would help you as well, because that's something you would want for your customers.
Oh, look, it's spot on. We haven't had any problem with our die cutting at the moment with it, or top slitting or creasing. Always adjustments on jobs, but we've had no problem at all. And the ease to change the blades and change settings, very easy. And it is a robust machine. You can see it's a solid machine, and it's here to stay for a long, long time.
Absolutely. And we'll run it in a second just to see how it works. The other thing I wanted to talk about was because you're doing a lot of short run jobs, you use the QR codes so you print QR codes on your actual jobs.
Yes, correct.
On the sheet so that it reads, because if you're doing short runs, you can't be constantly changing, if there's 20 sheets of this, 50 sheets of that, 100 sheets of that. You want to make sure that you've got, please, you continue.
Yeah, and once you've got the QR codes on and the fiducials, everything on it, you can put 3, if you need, and a lot of jobs are just 10 sheets. Someone wants 100 labels or 250 labels, die cut or top slit. So and the little circles. So easy to print, 10 shoots, 10 times 20 up, there's 200 labels in 10 shoots. So then you can go from that job to another to another. So if you have a number of little jobs, you can put 2, 3 or 4 jobs on, and the same thing with the QR code. You just walk away and let the machine do its job.
And the camera reads the QR
And the
code.
camera reads it and changes
to
without
the
a
next
problem.
job very quickly.
Yes.
And it also had obviously the registration marks for image drift as well. If there's any image drift or image shift from a perspective of when you're printing, to make sure that accuracy is there per sheet.
Yes,
Is
it's
that right?
it's 100%.
Yep.
It's really good. And obviously the beauty of it is you can keep your eye on the machine. You can, and that's what I stress, that it is very good to work with.
Yep.
Very good to it. Print, look at the end result, and you can see the end result when it comes out, that it's still running well. Go back to your cellar glazing or your Duplo, cutting cards, scoring cards, all of that.
Okay, all right. And in terms of, so what does it do? It cuts, it creases,
Creases, scores, creases,
scores, cuts,
Yep.
kiss cuts.
Yes. Die cut, kiss cuts.
Yep. So essentially any sort of thing from that perspective, it does up to 600 GSM in terms of card.
Yes. Well, we've done presentation folders, which we've printed on our larger machine.
Yep.
Which is like 600 arms. We've cellar glazed them.
Yep.
And to give a really good finish, and we'll print them one up, presentation, and we do a lot of presentation folders on this machine. Put 50 sheets up and walk away and let it cut.
It's funny you mentioned
score and cut.
Okay, it's funny you mentioned this, the cellar glazing part. So you would do things like satin laminate. You'd also upsell in terms of embossing, foiling, that sort of thing, to make sure that you're upselling essentially to your customers a much better product.
Sure.
Yes. And I would imagine you would charge for it as well.
Oh yes, look, the profitability on it all is just terrific. So it's the same. We charge a setup time, so matter whether it's 10 shoots, 50 shoots, 200 shoots, there is a setup charge. We basically call that the knife sort of thing. Much cheaper than a normal knife to get made and then put on a cylinder to die cut or whatever. It's a setup charge, whether, like I said before, like 10 or 20 shoots, 50 or 100 shoots, that's money in the bank, because it may take you 5 minutes to set up, 10 minutes to set up. So, and you have 10 jobs a day like that, well, you can do the maths and you can see, and then you've got the charge to do the die cutting, and then you'll get the cellar glazing and you get the printing. It's all bundled in together. And next thing you know, 50 presentation folders you could charge $200 or something, $250. You could do within an hour. Now that's good money. That is absolutely. Yes.
And in terms of if we look at the machine itself, so it's a B2 machine.
Yes, we've got a B2 press, and we use a lot. We've got 2 SRA3 machines. We've got a A3 GDO, so we do a lot of GDO work, which we can put on the cutter as well, if there's a spot color that they really need. So it doesn't matter. You can print any job on it. It's good for all jobs. Okay. And it's compact. You can see it doesn't take up too much room.
Yeah. Important
It's
footprint.
neat. It's tidy. Yeah, we love it.
No, that's fantastic. We might get it to run if that's okay. Ronald, if we switch over to. So while that's happening, some of the questions that were asked. If we go back in the chat, does it crease and cut in one pass? Yes, it does.
Well, how long does it take to cut one SRA through shoot? That all depends on how many up the job is. Obviously, if you've only got 4 circles or 4 little wobblers to cut out, 30 seconds, not even. But if you've got something like this or even smaller circles and it's like 50 up or whatever up, it'll take a bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
And also the intricacies of what the knife is. This machine will do a lot more than a normal knife cutting.
Yep.
So if it's got a special shape to it, this machine will cut it.
Okay.
And it depends how many up and how many it is.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Okay. How many units have been sold worldwide? Well, that's a good thing, I think, about this machine. People want to buy a machine that's been tried and tested, not something that's, you know, we're testing in the market or they're being guinea pig for or anything like that. So there's been about 800 units that have been sold worldwide. And I know of about 600 units at least in Europe alone, which is really quite a fantastic thing. That shows you the reliability of the machine and the popularity of the machine, and really where the trend is with the short run jobs globally, not just in Australia.
Sure.
Obviously, it's been expedited with COVID.
Yeah.
And so it shows that, you know, there needs to be that sense of, you know, you wanting to stay on top of things and really be agile as a business to be able to be on top of all the trends that are happening
around the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
So one of the questions is, what's the reasonable price to charge for SRA through shoot? Well, that all depends on the job itself, but we start at a base rate, as I said before, of approximately $50 setup fee, and then depending on what's on the shoot, how many up it is and how long it's going to take, $1 a shoot after that, or $1.50 up to $2 a shoot.
Okay.
Up for that kind of work. And some jobs a client has said, look, it's a very, very intricate job we want done.
Yep.
And they only want 10 of these specialized items because they're going to print 20,000 or whatever. So we do it and we charge accordingly for it. So, yeah.
And so you should. Does it have software to help users? Yes, it does.
You've got the software. You can go to the web with it. The training is great. So the techs will come in and show you how to use the machine with the software and everything. So it's starting to run now, as you can see. You sent practice shoot. You should sit down a couple of shoots too. So at the moment, it's cutting all circles. I'm sure is it top slitting at the moment with a bleed on it, so which will give you a fantastic result. It's 48 up shoot.
Quite good.
Really good.
Essentially, the more you can get on a sheet, the more.
Oh, the better that you charge, yeah.
Okay.
The more you can charge for printing, cutting, the whole lot. Yeah. Well, that's good. There you go. Isn't that wonderful? It is so good. There you go. The next one's going through. So I could be away doing something else at the moment, working another machine, yet keeping my eye on this machine while it's going. It's the beauty of it.
Okay. Well, no, it looks
That's 96,
pretty impressive.
96 labels in
Yeah,
about 2 minutes. Not even. How good is that?
that's very impressive.
It's very impressive.
That is
Yep.
very, very impressive. And very accurate too. So
Oh, they're spot on.
all right. Were there any other questions on the chat that I could? Okay. And we talked about some of the, some of the features of this machine, being, the CCD camera for the accuracy versus a USB camera from, say, competition.
Yep.
We talked about also being faster. We talked about the bigger area for the working area on the actual bed.
Yeah, you don't need a. Yep.
We didn't talk about the build of the machine being that solid welded steel as opposed to your aluminium
right.
frame sort of
Yeah.
thing. You don't want warping with these sorts of machines.
No, it's a solid machine. It's a strong machine.
You've got to have it. If it's slightly, it'll be out. So these machines have to be absolutely solid, solidly
You
built.
can feel the machine. You know it's robust.
You do,
Francois,
you do.
yes.
You can feel it, and when well, even while it's running, you can hear it sort of that grunt in it, sort of thing. That's really good. That's very impressive.
Well, we've had no issues with reliability.
Yep.
With jobs. So yeah, we've had no issues whatsoever.
Okay, all right. Well, no, thank you so much. We are running a special offer till the end of this month, which is only another week and a bit. So it'd be important that, reach out to your account manager at Smartech, or you can email me. My email address is in the chat to discuss this machine further. From that perspective, you want to talk about how you can grow your revenue streams for 2022. It's really important that you find, new ways of growing your business. And from that perspective, would like to thank Manuel for coming.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And about the machine.
Yes, and I wouldn't do this. I do believe in the machine, and for small businesses, small shops, it will attract you a lot more work knowing that you've got an in-house cutter to be able to do what it does.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much. And thank you to you who have joined us, and we'll be in touch very, very soon. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.